my favorite freak. I be diving in the shit and make the pussy leak. Trap nights at the crib like my nigga Reap.
Welcome to Trap Nights, the crib. It's your boy Presidential Rell.
It's Trap Nights Princess. I am Lil Bitt.
And we got a very, very special guest in here tonight. We got national champion, state champion, head coach from the Miami Central 95th Street Rockets, Coach Jube Joseph. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
Man, we so grateful to have Coach Jube here, man. Talk football, politics, life, everything around the sun. That's what we want to do, man. Jube, how you doing?
I'm coolin', man. Just happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? Getting my legs underneath me from a long season.
Okay.
And getting ready for another go. 4P loaded, drive for 5 coming soon.
Yeah. Drive for 5. That's what's going on, man. Yeah, what you was about to say, Shay?
Drive for 5. I heard that.
Yeah, then they gonna be 6 for 6. But we ain't gonna jump ahead that fast. We ain't gonna jump ahead that fast, man. Drive for 5. That's what, Miami Central was heading towards after a 4P year. Dude, how I feel, this one of my questions for you as to how I feel to you. I know you come from, under what Miami Central come from up under the umbrella of coaches over the last 10 or 12 years, from Telly Lockett to Roland Smith, and then you taking the throne and, taking the team undefeated to a national championship. How does that feel?
It's a great feeling. You always want to get involved as far as doing it for the community, do it for where you was raised at, and just reaching back to the kids that play for you. A lot of the kids that play for me, I went to school with their parents, so it's kind of like a surreal moment. We always coin the term neighborhood heroes,
right?
Because you want to let the kids know that they're being watched. It's a generational thing. When I was coming up, I was used to watch guys like Daylight and T, the quarterback, and Najee, and these guys, they had impacts on me as a shorty. So growing into it, letting the kids know that you have impact on people coming after you. So you gotta walk into your purpose and be intentional in what you're doing. And it's just great to bring that type of feeling to the community. I always tell them, when we drive into the stadium with the police escort, to look to your left and look to your right and pay attention to the cars that's missing in the driveways. These people ain't home, they waiting on you at the stadium. Right. They waiting on you at the stadium because you are the show and you are the community and you represent that.
Yeah, that's a brand.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Being that I'm an inner city child, how do you feel about most of the inner city kids that you come across? Like, do you feel like you have more passion towards them, you gravitate towards them? How do you feel about different kids from different areas that want to come to your school to play for you?
I think for especially with my path for coaching, I started off coaching in the country. I coached at Amos P. Gobby in Tallahassee, and I coached in Tallahassee, Lincoln, and I coached in North Marion and Ocala. I even did some stunts in Georgia. And I always wanted to delegate to go back home because, at the end of the day, you can coach kids or kids, but nonetheless, you want to go back home to kids who grew up like you. You relate to them more in the sense of you can understand what they're going through. A lot of those shorties, I tell them all the time, my daycare was across the street from Miami Central. Right. I rode the 17 home, so I know, or the jitney, or things of that nature. So I know what you're going through, and then you can use that as an example, or you use that as an olive branch to let them know, keep pushing and keep going. Don't let your present dictate your future, or your settings or adverse situations. So. And it's authentic when it's coming from somebody who's actually been through it with you. Right. I understood that I coach kids in the country, but I couldn't really relate to them. I understood, at the end of the day, coaching is coaching, but culture is culture as well. Yeah. So, and it's a different culture down here in Miami, Florida, and South Florida in general. And you always want to be able to connect more. It's a connection thing for me with the inner city.
Do you see yourself in any of your players?
All of them. Every single one of them. I see myself in my players and my coaches. I see myself in the kids walking the halls of Miami Central. Because at the end of the day, we all come from the same community, so we all fighting a good fight, and we all seeing the same things. And life is cyclical. Everybody's gonna go through the same thing. It's just no matter what era it is. It's just gonna be a different setting, but it's gonna be the same thing.
Okay.
You from the Robin Hood area?
No, I'm actually from the Lakeside area.
That's like North Miami.
Yeah, North Miami, over there where the boys' club was. I played at the boys' club. So, you know, the feeding patterns used to be kids that played for Liberty City Warriors. We'll go to Northwestern, Cherry. Northwest Boys Club kids went to Miami Central.
Right.
Some went to Northwestern, but, you know, that was back when, you know, before the FYFL, like, that was like the game of the year used to be Boys Club versus the City. Yeah. Or Gwen Cherry, and that trifecta right there. Right. And so just that in that era, and I tell the kids all the time, like, yo, listen, the rivalry's in you. You know, I don't know what the rivalry is. I don't know why we hated Liberty City Warriors, but I was just taught since I was 8. We don't like them. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah. I was going to ask that question, too, because I know y'all have this thing, because I watch y'all on social media. Of course, I'm into football.
We don't like y'all either.
and I see, like, y'all always talk about how y'all put that dog in y'all players. So what exactly is, like, y'all talking about? Like, I know y'all had a player who came from the West, and I think when y'all played the West, he caught the ball. No, he didn't catch the ball. It was the first touchdown he made or whatever. Mm-hmm. And y'all little post, whatever his post was, it went viral because I remember seeing it, and they ran over the cameraman, and they was just like, the players at the West said he didn't have that dog in him, but y'all told him he had that dog in him. So what did y'all mean by that?
I think that when we say that dog in them, we try to develop our kids to just walk through life with a chip on your shoulder. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And approach everything with a sense of urgency. Mm-hmm. You know, and understand that nothing is given, everything is earned, and knowing that your approach to any situation, not just football, but just anything in life, you're running late and you need to be on time. You need to get there now. That's that dog in you. That's that urgency. That's that moving with a purpose that we always say. You know, you always got to remind them, you know, what's your why? Why are you doing this? And if it's really what you're doing it for, then you need to be moving faster than you are already. And that kid came to us, and I guess he found his purpose with us. Some things don't work out for people in certain situations, and some things do. And when he came with us, he found his purpose, and he stepped into it every single moment that presented itself.
Yeah. I like that. I feel like that helps them gain confidence too.
It does. You're a coach. You're a coach with, you know, a lot of high intensity. You got a lot of passion behind you. Do you think that like is instilled in the players when they see it coming from their head coach?
I think I like to talk to my players a lot, like just random conversations, and I think this kind of embodies what you were saying. I was walking down the hall, one of my offensive linemen, and I asked him, I said, "Hey, do you believe in yourself?" You know, and he just said, "Sometimes." They paused though. He said, "Sometimes." And I said, "You believe in me?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "That's weird." He was like, "What?" I was like, "What? You didn't hesitate with me, but for yourself, you kind of had to think about it."
Right.
And he said, "Yeah." I said, "So why you believe in me more than you believe in yourself?" He was like, "Just the way you carry yourself. You walk in the room, it's just your presence and how you speak, and you just it's like you know what you're talking about. You give me this confidence that I'm a winner." And I told him, I said, "I'm gonna be honest with you. I said I carry myself like that because, you know, that's what you see, but you don't see the preparation. Yeah. You don't see the dedication. You don't see the countless hours, you know, of what I put forth in my craft. Right. I move with confidence because I know I prepare. My separations and my preparation. Right. I said, you're hesitant because you don't feel like you're prepared. If you focus on the preparation as opposed to the performance, then your confidence will be just that much as well. You know, and I think that that's a lot of things that we need to start instilling in the kids, understanding that practice is way more important than the performance because, you know, practice will make the performance easy. And I think that that's why we at Miami Central, you know, we dedicate a lot of time to practice, and we try to evoke a lot of emotion in practice, and we try our best. The moment the kids say it's just practice, no, it's not.
Right. That opposite shit.
You better not say it's just practice. Practice is game day. Yeah. This is real.
Every day is game day.
Because I honestly like watching Central play though, because I always tell people when Central play, you can tell the kids having fun. They not playing too hard. They actually playing to have fun. Like you see the character down the field when they score, they cheer each other on. You see the coaches proud. I love seeing the sideline videos when the coach is talking, y'all clapping them up or whatever. You can see that y'all actually care. Y'all have a lot of passion behind y'all kids.
You know, we try to instill family within them. It sounds cliche, but we really are actual family. You know, I know we're a family because we have dysfunction in our family. Everybody got that drunk uncle. Everybody got that. Everybody got that cousin who gonna go take a walk before we go. you know, and we have that, and we embrace that. But family business is family business, and we gonna love each other, in its own, and the kids own up to that. And I always say that's the secret sauce is that we love each other, and you know, from coaches to players, you know, we're gonna argue, we're gonna fight, we're gonna yell, we're gonna scream, but at the end of the day, we together. You know, if you want to go fast, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. Yeah. So we try our best to go together.
Right. Yeah. You know, being that you are a Miami Central alumni, former player, number 9, cornerback. You know, back when Central was in his building stages,
right?
The foundation was being built when you was playing, and you were not there, giving it your all. How important was it for you to come back? You was at all these different schools, out of town. How important was it for you to come back and coach at your alma mater?
I mean, I always been like for us, but for me, I mean, just in general, when you play for Central, you come from Central, you just got like it's like family ties. I remember when y'all went to state 2010, right? And I was in college, and my girl was like, "You driving all the way to Orlando for a state?" I'm like, "This is history." Yeah. I got to see this in person.
Alumni.
Like I got to see this. I got to be there. I got to.
It's a different feeling,
right? So it's just, and then you go through so many memories of being out there on that field. I mean, I tell the kids, I remember being in my backyard as a shorty, and I could hear the drums from the band practicing in the air because it's so far, but it's still so loud. Yeah. And I create my own little trash power game in my backyard. The wet clothes would be the offensive line, and I mess up the clothes because I'm the running back and things of that nature. So I always knew, I had a conversation with the principal because I said something about the seal or something. I was like, I don't like the seal, it's ugly. He's like, you can't say that, I'm an alumni. I said, me too, I done been to every spring concert since 1993. Yeah. So you can't tell me, but it's just surreal for me. I always use Central as a example of what my kids I wanted to play like out of town. I showed them all type of videos from Central, and I would follow Telly Lockett religiously, which so exercise so surreal, because like people always ask me, did you see this coming? I'm like, yep. I mean, it comes off as arrogant, but it's not for me. It's just really confidence. It's like I feel like the tongue is very powerful, and I feel like God is powerful. So whatever I want, favor ain't fair. So if you study something, if you want something bad enough, it'll get there.
I got a very important question. I want to know how important the atmosphere is as far as the band, the cheerleaders especially, because I'm a cheerleader. I'm forever a cheerleader. So I'm a cheer coach too. So how do you feel when the cheerleaders aren't present?
I just think that adds to the culture of South Florida. The cheerleaders, the band, the atmosphere, period. That's what makes South Florida football South Florida football. I mean, if you don't have that, then you just have a scrimmage.
Do you feel like the band hypes your boys up to a certain extent? Yeah,
I think it does. I mean, those are things that they do. And those are things that they need. That's all the aesthetics of the game. Yeah. That's like you can go back to the COVID year when people weren't allowed to be in the stadiums. That had an effect on the game. It did. People don't think that they do, but they actually contribute to it. Who doesn't want to be motivated? Yeah. Right. Who doesn't want support? Right. They want to know that they're supported. They want to know that they're motivated, and so on and so forth. So I think that those are big aesthetics in the game.
Your school got your back.
She wanted to ask that so bad. I do. Like she been saying, like I'm asking him that, like. Yeah. And when she asked me, and I told her, I'm like, man, the cheerleaders are very important. The band is
we have a great relationship with the cheerleaders at Miami Central. I think, and the band as well. I think we all move as a unit. I think Miss Robel does a terrific job at Miami Central. Mr. Virgil does a terrific job at Miami Central with the band. And I think all together we work as one.
See, I only asked that question because ever since I've been little, I always had like a shirt that we wore to practice it. It always say, "What will be football be without cheerleaders?" Yeah. Right. So that's why I asked that question. I asked every football coach the same thing because some football coaches, they don't really care for cheerleaders, but I just genuinely wanted to know because I feel like every school is different.
Yeah. When you say do your job, that's your job. Yeah. That's the band job. Yeah. That's the football team job is to win. Y'all hype us up. Y'all get us prepared.
Even if you lose, though, it don't even matter if you win or if you lose. You're just supposed to be there to be cheerful.
Right. Yeah. Y'all supposed to keep stuff going. Y'all supposed to keep the kids in a mood to want to win, to want to execute. Because y'all over there stumping and clapping. And I remember I kind of went viral a little bit when I think that was last year or the year before last when we were playing the West and the cheerleaders was going at it with the West cheerleaders from across the field, and I was over there stumping my feet with them. I'm like, yeah, get their ass. Yeah, get them. We on their ass. Come on, cheer girls. Yeah, so it's very important. And I know it's important, for our team, though, because we be looking for the cheerleaders in the band when they not there on time. Like, damn, where the hell them cheerleader bus at? What So, yeah,
I think cheerleaders in the band be more excited than the football team, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie, I be on the bus with my girls. They be like, we ready to go to the game. I be like, I'm ready to go to the game, too, and I'm a coach. I be on the sideline with my phone, like, yeah.
That's
and I
good.
be yelling at boys. Like,
what do you coach for?
I coach for HML now, but I've coached for Miami Carroll City.
She already
I
told me.
TJ, I've been coaching for a little minute, probably
Yeah,
about 4 years.
Coach at Miami Central.
Mm.
Let the head coach know that
It would
you
be
said
a
that
pleasure to have me.
I want to coach at Miami Central.
I have over 20 years experience.
Yeah, she got some experience. She know her stuff. But yeah, that was gonna be my next question too. But you already had answered that as to, did you ever see yourself becoming the head coach?
Oh yeah, I think like I say, I always, you got to be like a forward thinker. Yeah. I knew one day it'd happen. I just felt like just being in the right situation, at the right time, and I had opportunities in front of me. I just declined it because I just felt like it wasn't the right time yet. And when this happened, I was already ready. Yeah, kind of had it already played out of my. It was weird because it was like, you ready? Yep, I actually got it ready. I got a PowerPoint right here. What's up? Let's do it.
That's how it be.
It was like, all right, cool. Like, you got everything in line. I had already, and like Maul, my best friend, I remember, what was 2019? Yeah. No, 2020 when we went to Naples. We was driving to Naples, and it was a playoff game, and we was just like talking hypotheticals. He was like, all right, so if you take over the program, what would you do? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I do 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z.
Like that was a trick question?
No, it was really just him trying to keep me on my toes. Yeah. And that's what we do as coaches. We always try to make each other better, and challenge each other, and just, you never know. If your opportunity comes, making sure your brother ready. Don't be complacent and just always want the best for yourself. It was a road trip, so might as well make the best of it instead of just sitting there to listen to music, ain't doing nothing. Might as well be proactive in the conversation.
Definitely. I ain't gonna lie. When I first met you and then I seen how you coach, I was telling the guys, I was telling the athletes, I'm like, man, listen, what y'all learning from him, I learned that in college. So the way he's preparing y'all gonna be well prepared. But when I first met you, the passion and the intensity that you had, I always said you were gonna be a head coach. I didn't know if you thought like you wanted to be a head coach, like did you think that far? But I always thought the passion and intensity that you brought to the game, the way you approached the game, the way you prepared for the game, that you was gonna be a head coach. Now with that being said, every head coach, like Nick Saban, has a special position group that they coach. That they I ain't gonna say favor more, but that's the group that's where they came from before they became a head coach. That group. What is that group for you?
Defensive backs.
Defensive backs.
Played defensive back. Just specialized in it. And it's just you played it. I always say it's hard to coach a position you ain't play. Right. There's nuances of that position that you can't read in the book. It's just like. To go back to why you coaching in the city because I'm from it, So it's like I know how it feels when you about to catch an interception and the play is happening so slow. Yeah. And you're like, I know he's not gonna throw the ball. Oh, he threw the ball. Oh, I caught the ball. Yeah. Oh, I'm about to score. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then I know how it feels when you beat and that play is happening fast as hell. Yeah. Like, I hope he don't throw this ball. Oh, he threw the ball. Oh, what is blue? Oh, you just like, man, and that's I know that. And when you tell kids that, their eyes get big. Like, so you know what I just went through. Yes, I know what you just went through.
Mm-hmm.
I understand
think forgetting that we've been there before.
Right. So I think that.
So how you feel about signing day? I know signing day is very big. How do you feel about sending your kids off to like the biggest schools that they probably thought that they would never go to?
I think it's a wonderful feeling. For not just the player, but for their village. You know, getting them able to sign in front of their families and know that they're moving on and progressing their careers academically and athletically. You know, that's really the name of the game, is to get that degree, get that free education, and you know, being able to see the impact that you have on the kid, your program has on the child. You know, I don't care where you go. I always tell them everybody's not gonna go to the NFL, but every single one of them gonna have to get a job.
Right.
And so, you just placing yourself. He's telling them, use football. Don't let football use you.
Preparing them for life after football.
Right. Use
So I
it
was about
as
to
a
say,
vessel.
like, how do you go about with like explaining to them like schoolwork first before you be that athlete, like a student athlete? Like, how do you explain it to them on a college level though? Because I know how you do it for high school. High school is a little bit different when you explain it to them opposed to them going to college. Because college they have a little bit more freedom.
You just got to be real with them. Like, you can't. Let me tell you something. The moment a teenager feel like you preaching to them, they not hearing nothing you saying.
Ja.
You just got to be real with them and say, hey, yo, this, that, and third. I know this because this happened to me. You may want to be careful. I can't. All the best I can do is tell you. And, you know, and when you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your decisions. Right. You know what I'm saying? Who you gonna look like in your casket? You know, and that's really the truth. And kids can, believe it or not, they can appreciate that genuity. They can appreciate that authenticity. Like, they can appreciate you being real with them. And it's just like a parent. You don't know what little Bobo gonna do when he leave the nest. All you can hope for is that I spent these 18 years instilling in you these values and these morals and principles. Hopefully you apply them. It's just like a teacher. All semester, I've been teaching you the Pythagorean theorem. Hopefully when number 3 on the FSA come up that says Pythagorean theorem, you apply what I've been teaching you.
Right.
If you don't, because you didn't study or X, Y, Z, that's not my fault. Right. I put my best foot forward with you. Yeah. And after, you know, they say, well, it's in the hands of the Lord. It is in the hands of the Lord.
In the hands of the Lord, for real.
No, that's real.
Nah, I feel that. I remember getting ready to go to college and my mama telling me, like, man, listen, they gonna send you home with a book and an apple. That's all I ever remember, book and an apple. When you come home on that plane, you can't come back and stay here. I did everything I can. You got a free education to go to a great university that could change your life and our life. Don't bring your ass back here.
And it'd be good because some of them, when they go off to school, not saying that it's bad that they lose their football spirit, but they actually just want to go to school, get that 4-year degree. Some of them go get their master's, they get a nice job. They don't even play ball. That's why I asked you that question, like, because some kids, they really just think football is life. And I be wanting to know if some of them, they go out of town, they actually change their perspective and actually think about the real world.
I mean, I think that's good because a lot of times what I try to tell them is, you just play football. You are not football because you try to avoid that. I would say that I call it the football hangover depression. You spend so much years of your life being told that, you know, you're gonna be a football player. You're gonna be a football player. That's what you're good at. This is what you is.
That's the only thing you be good at.
And then when the lights get cut off and the field, and the buses drive off and the fans go home. Now you looking like, well, I ain't good at nothing else. Yeah. So who am I in this world? You know what I'm saying? And it's up to us as the adults in their lives coming up to get your kid into other things other than football. To let them explore other interests and see what they're good at other than football. Here's a secret: you can be good at other things,
Right.
and still be able to play football.
So do you encourage your boys to do like track?
Every single thing. I just talked to my wide receiver coach, like, hey, y'all doing? I said they doing track come
Cross
Monday.
country.
They doing all. They got to be in track. They got to. If you ain't in track, you better be in wrestling. If you ain't in wrestling, you better be doing badminton. You better be doing something.
Something, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's because it's called football burnout. You don't want to be burnt out with football. Right. You know, football's not the only sport. I believe in developing a child holistically, cultivating all their key aspects of what they can do well.
Yeah. And the college level is kind of different too, because I know when you go to college, you going up against so many other people from other schools. Yeah. You gotta compete for a spot.
Yeah. Nothing ain't given to you
at all.
Yeah. Right. I don't see 5-star guys go on the bench for a 2-star guy. So it's definitely nothing ain't given to you.
And I done seen players get concussions and be like, yeah, this ain't for me. They don't care about me. I'm going to just go to school and do what I got to do.
Well, guess what? I always tell my kids, if you focus on school and football don't work out, it's a million ways to make $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, don't just think the only way you gonna become a millionaire is football. It's less harmful, more ways to make $1 million. Right. So don't put everything. I mean, while you playing football, of course, put your all into it, put your best foot forward, but make sure you focus on school because that piece of paper gonna take you farther than football ever will. Right. When you done playing. But I'm gonna shift back. I want to shift back to you had a lights out defense, man, that produced so much, and the name of your defense is Factory. Where does Factory come from?
Factory comes from just us. Well, it was like a little moniker that I had coming up in the coaching game where, you know, kind of like making these kids accountable for each other. Mm-hmm. Kind of like if you think about a Nike factory, the product and the actual the essence of the product on the conveyor belt doesn't change. So if one product falls off the conveyor belt, the same product is coming, so on and so forth. So kind of like building a connection within a group where it's like everybody is good. You know what I'm saying? Not building any type of ascension within the group where it's like, well, you third string, you garbage. Right. And it's like, no, we a factory. The third string is just as good as the first string. Right. First string got hurt, second string get in, it's a factory.
You know what's so crazy, though, that you say that? Because I got brothers, and I be talking to my daddy about football. I was just like, you know, Central, the whole team good. Yeah. I was at the game calling my brother. I'm like, hey, the West just go, but I don't know now because this other group just hopped in. They were like, well, you know, they first string real good. You ain't got too much worry about them getting hurt. I'm like, nah, they always got a backup. Yeah. And the backup be just as good as the first string. Like,
preparation.
Right, and it adds validity and it adds value to each kid and builds confidence in each kid to know that my coach is pouring in me just as much as he's pouring into the starter because you never know when your shot gets called, and when your shot does get called, you're gonna play up to par, and he's not gonna lower the bar for you. We don't know.
Like people look for y'all weakness, right? And y'all really don't have a weakness because y'all teach all them to play together and to take care of each other. I think that's so beautiful.
Exactly, and that's really what it is, and it's kind of like synonymous, a double meaning because we also have factory. When you think about factory, you think about work.
So I didn't even think about it like that.
When we go to the factory, it's time to go to work. You know, and that's how like our early morning practices. We get up 7 in the morning. And they say, you know, like, why do you wake up so early? It's like, well, I'm trying to teach these young men how to be men. Yeah. Men wake up in the morning to go take care of their family. Right. So get your ass up to go to work.
That's unique, though, because I done seen so many defenses called so many different things. Dog pound, mudslide, dark side, just stuff that try to scare people but don't have no real meaning behind it. In Factory, I always wanted to ask you that, but, you know, now that you broke it down, that it makes a lot of sense. Like everything in the factory has a job to do to create that Nike shoe. Whether it's extension, putting the Nike sign on the tongue of the shoe, on the back of the shoe, every part of that is important.
And you show each player that everybody is important to.
Yeah, everybody is important. So that's very unique, Coach. So you know, I see. You also has another slogan says "No free rings," and I see a lot of people starting to use it, and it's time to get that trademark because everybody using they trying to copy Natty5th. What does "No free rings" means to you?
I think it just is added to the culture of, and there's a shout out to 2010 state championship, first state championship team. Kind of like really starting off the run for the rings and. I mean, let's just say the elephant in the room is everybody, when they come to Central, they expect to win. Yeah. And it's like you just can't expect to win. You better invest to win. Yeah. You can't just think you're just gonna be along for the ride. And it's not with just players, it's people, it's everybody included. Yeah. Community members and all. No free rings. You don't get this ring for free. What did you invest in this to get this ring with us? Right. Everybody's not gonna go with you. Everybody's not a champion. And sometimes, and that's a way for us to also weed out those pretenders who aren't really champions, front runners. That's why we make the process so arduous because it's not for everybody. You got to really love football to play for Miami Central. You got to love it to be able to go through what we put you through. Right. It's kind of like one of those back in the day when they do them job interviews when they be like, fill out the application, but the application's like 4 hours long, and it's like, well, we're going to see if you really want this job. Right. Because if you gonna sit there at that table for 4 hours, but if you really want this job, you're gonna last them 4 hours. And it's the same thing. It's like a filtering process. People can't just earn, not giving. You just ain't finna come here and just get a ring.
Right.
You got to come and earn it.
So do you feel like y'all really started in 2010? Because I remember in 2009, I was in school. We played y'all right before y'all went to state.
I don't think we started in 2010. I think Miami Central's fielded great football teams in the 90s.
Yeah, because y'all was pretty good.
We just couldn't really get over the hump. You know what I'm saying? It's always something that happened. I think 2010 was really the first team to win it. When I was in school, we were ranked 3rd nationally.
Yeah, because when I was in school, 2009, when we played y'all, I'm not going to kid you no lie. I was going to Miramar, and the 2009 team, that was pretty decent. But I would never forget when we first got to the stadium, we was excited for the game. But being that I'm from Miami-Dade, I already kind of knew what Central had to offer already. So I was kind of scared for my school. Because, you know, Miramar, they kind of Broward it, they whatever they want to call it, in between. So I feel like Central always has this demeanor when they step on the field.
We expect to win.
It ain't even about expecting to win. It was so much trash talking. I don't even think our boys was ready for that. But we had good boys too. Yeah. But they were just quiet. So when we played that game, because I will never forget, I busted my nose open. My nose was bleeding. It was just too much going on because everybody was catching balls. That game was really amazing. That was
stopped letting people in that game.
Yeah, that was my first on the field type game. I was cheering. I was just like, oh my gosh, you're going to lose. Oh my gosh, you about to win. It was so much going on. People was getting hurt. And it's just like, I actually seen a dog in them from the sideline. Yeah. So that's why I was just like, do you really feel like it started from 2010? Because I actually seen it myself. And I feel like it was 2009 too. Because I feel like Central has always been this way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
We've always been like just a game away. We've always fielded good teams consistently. Never just really got over that hump, and I think this is a culmination of it.
These young boys now, they real hungry. Mm-hmm. They ain't playing.
It ain't easy being a Rocket. It's hard to be a Rocket. Everybody ain't gonna make it. This is not though. There's no free rings, literally. Like, I think what Coach Jube just saying is we finally got over that hump in 2010. Central always been on the map.
Yeah, that's
like ain't like we
always. It's like a misconception where it's like the field just got laid on 95th Street, 19th Ave, like in 2009. Like it's like we've always been there. Like we've always had a good and pretty great teams. Yeah. It's just like I said, something like I remember like my 10th grade year we were undefeated, and then they said I think Brian Patter was an illegal player, so they took away our 5 wins. We had to go 5-0 on the field. So on the field we were 10-0. Yeah. But then on paper we were 5-5. So it's like things like that occurred here and there. But we had some great athletes like Courtney Denson, Marcus Daniels, Darnell Jenkins, just some Christian Gaines, and Jamal Sheffield, World Warner. Like
the people love seeing, because I ain't gonna lie. When I was teaching at the middle school, I always asked like my 8th graders. I was like, "Where y'all going for high school?" Them little babies used to be like, "Man, I'm going to Cent." Yeah. I used to be like, yeah, I know how to play ball. I used to be like, all right, well, you go out there, I'm going to come see you, because I always go to y'all games. So it's just like.
The kids love Cent.
Kids love Cent.
They love Cent.
I think the narrative, to be honest with you, to really look at, us as the, nobody's been doing it this good for this long. Yeah. In such a quick period of time.
So much hate.
It's hate, but we stand in it. We don't care. We embrace the hate because.
Hate with grace.
Right, exactly. And at the end of the day, that means we're doing something right. Mm-hmm. They can try to change the narrative. They can try to say whatever they want to. But at the end of the day, the product speaks for itself on a consistent basis. We've been able to do what some have taken 20 years, 30 years to do. Yeah. We've been able to do and surpass in way less time. Yeah.
I just want to know if it's true or not. Them people stole y'all playbook? I gotta ask. That's right. I'm asking.
She asked it.
I'm asking.
I would just say this was understood. Ain't got to be explained. It ain't help a thing.
It ain't help a thing.
Cause that's crazy right there to me.
So I know. Like I said, this your first stint as a head coach, and you were very successful in your first year. What are your short-term and long-term goals as a head coach?
Coming up this year, everything's just really it's a month-by-month thing. It's always a plan in action. Right now it's really to get my last bit of seniors into college. Once we do that, kickstart our winter weightlifting program. allowing the development, because people swear we don't develop kids, and that's fine. We allow the development of our kids in our winter program and the weight training. Also create a different program with my staff as far as professional development by going to clinics, because we go to clinics because we're coaches. Coaches continue to learn. Right. So we make sure we go to clinics to learn and bring back new innovative drills and models to improve our kids and develop them, because they play for Miami Central because they want to win. Yeah. And winners play with winners. Yeah. If you want to fly with the Eagles, you can't walk with the Turkeys. So you know, we're gonna be doing that way, and then once we have once we do our winter program, then we'll go into the spring ball and start getting our 24 kids looked at with the scouts and so on and so forth.
I love it.
You was feeling that. You was feeling the emphasis he was putting.
Yeah, you got to put emphasis on everything that you do, because everybody can't be winners.
Especially when you Miami Central and you got the I Hate Miami Central tour going, and people just adding. They just fall in the bus.
After every game, social media be flush. Yeah. I mean, they be talking crazy. I be excited for it. I look forward to it. I be going to everybody's page. I want to see what everybody say. Oh, he went to San. Oh, he went to the West. So I know what he gonna say about the San. No, I gotta see it.
I mean, like I said, our kids, they embrace that.
Yeah. They eat social media up with that.
We was good with being the villains this year, and we're gonna be good with being the villains next year. It's all right. It's cool with us. You know?
It's because they know what they got.
I mean, it's hard to be a Rocket. It's hard to be on like number one, and we hold that to a high esteem. Yeah. Like all the videos, you got the best videos. The best uniforms.
Really though.
It's like every different game, it's a different flavor.
Yeah, you really invest in it. And I'm not gonna lie, even down to y'all band and y'all cheerleaders, like it's always something new every game. I be looking at the whole side. I be like,
we're the standard. Yeah.
What's going on?
We're the standard. We walk on excellence on Natty5th Street, not 95th Street.
Natty5th Street.
Natty5th Street.
Yeah, they can't take that away.
They can't.
Hey, Jube, I see. When I go on Facebook, I see a lot of older people who played before. They always make comments and say, "Man, Jube pregame speeches, man, that shit had me ready to run through a wall. They had me ready to play."
Like Deion Sanders, I ain't lying.
Yeah. What? How does that make you feel to know that those speeches, your pregame speeches, your postgame speeches, it rev people up and make them feel good about just watching Miami Central? How does that feel?
I guess it's a good feeling, more so just because you always want to have impact, and I always try to teach the kids that what's your impact gonna be? How they gonna remember you?
I feel like that come with coaching too.
Like what are you gonna separate yourself from? Like what's when you're born and they have a dash and then you die. What's that dash? What's that impact? How will you be remembered? And so I think
that's their legacy.
Right. That's the thing about it is that's just a showcase of us. That's the aesthetic and connection to the team of this year and how they move. Because everybody was looking at that I Hate tour like, when they gonna lose? Yeah.
It was waiting.
When they gonna lose?
I ain't gonna lie. I had me scared that one game.
It was waiting. Yeah.
I was scared at that game when y'all
We don't get scared.
No,
we weren't scared
I know that, but I'm saying when y'all played the West again, I was like,
yeah.
I was on my toe. I'm like, no.
What is going on?
I was rooting for y'all though.
Do you keep up with Shoes mic'd up when he does the mic up with RTB?
Yeah.
There was no panic on the sideline.
No panic.
I know, but that's why I said that's why I love watching y'all, because for me, I feel like the fans always go through the little and y'all just be chilling, like nothing going on. Y'all just be relaxed on the sideline. I be like, what are you doing? It's me over here. I'm scared. Like
we put our kids through that.
Yeah, because we put our kids through like this.
They know. We put our kids through that. We practice every possible adverse situation. Like we come up like, well, how can we?
Every scenario.
How can we mess them up today? Like literally, like let's say for instance, against American Heritage, and that was a great team, the state championship game, and the wide receiver fumbled. And they was like, yeah, that was a good play. And I'm like, we practiced that for like 3 days.
Right.
Yeah, no, y'all plays are very smooth.
We do, you know, we put our kids in great situations. Shout out to the coaching staff and just constantly hammering adverse situation, because when they can handle adversity,
They can handle
anything. And it's not just, he always said, Coach Jube always says, it's not if adversity hits, it's when it hits. Because it's coming. And what are you going to do? Cry about it, or are you going to have a proactive plan to get you out of it?
Right. You know? I see you got some, your staff is young and energetic. They done played the game. They done been there, done that. You know, how important it is to have coaches, you know, that played, coach the kids, that have that's young and energetic, that's passionate, that can run around with the kids and show them more so than telling them. How important is that?
I think it's very important. I do think, however, I try my best to create a happy median between the older guys and the younger guys. Because I know if I have a staff full of younger guys, and I'm a younger guy, we're going to get in trouble. Yeah. We need balance. Yeah. Where the older guys can step in like, all right now, y'all tripping. Yeah. And then we be like, all right, we tripping.
Right.
You
the
know,
coach the Whites, the coach Chop,
right,
AJ.
Right. Yeah. And then sometimes the older guys need the younger guys like, yo, they don't do that no more.
Yeah.
They not listening to that.
I think that's why the team is so compatible though, because you got that young coaching staff, they keep the kids hip, but then you got the old coaching staff that know what works and what won't work.
Exactly, because they've been there. And like I recall I had a conversation with Maul again. Maul was like, man, I thought you said if you took over, you would let them listen to music when they're in the weight room. I'm like, well, Maul, you gotta pick your battles. I was like, man, these shorties, if that's how they get in their zone. I've never wanted to be Al Bundy. Yeah. I've never wanted to be a guy that's like, well, back in my day, I used to, man, no. Yeah. It's not your day. Now. Shut up. Right. Take your, what Jesus say, take your old behind the bed. You know, so I think it's a happy median. But I do think it's very important that I have younger guys, but not just younger guys. I have younger guys who played for Central, who have ties to the program, who have championships, who can say, I put that on, I put that green and white on, I put that Gucci on.
Yeah, because that's what the kids want to hear.
Right. So I know what it is, and they can relate. Like, okay, because. You know, and the biggest thing is when you're dealing with the youth, how can they relate to you? Because especially, like, man, you can't help me.
And knowing your school history is everything.
Right. I mean, I always tell them to break down on pride. It's always trying to bring pride. I always like paying attention to details. We're all wearing the same color. We're all going to the same goal. Nobody's bigger than the program. I always say that nobody's bigger than the program. We're all small pieces to a bigger puzzle. Always have the little things and. You know, always focus on being a family. And I tell them all the time, even when you have a number one recruit to a guy who has no stars, Central is not made for superstars. Right. But if you play within the system and you move as a unit and you move as a family, you will become a superstar.
So you don't have no set number of players?
What do you mean by that?
Do you still recruit?
What I do is, here's the thing. Our thing is, like, let's say for the spring, probably have over like 200 kids because you got the JV and the varsity. Yeah. And then in the summer, that number they'll split. And then, like, let's say this summer, we had 75, 80 kids come out on varsity. But then the playoff roster has to get trimmed down to 60. You know, so that's just how it happens.
See, I always wonder that because I always see, like, really big teams, but you never really know if they break the team up or not. You know, some JV players move to varsity. I always wonder how that
as bad as, you know, just being a coach, as bad as we don't want to have to let kids go and have to, you know, break their heart, it has to happen. You have to
I'm totally fine with that, though, because, listen, at the end of the day, failure is a part of life. Yeah. Everybody doesn't get a trophy. We have to stop teaching. We have to teach our kids how to fail and how to handle failure. Yeah. Just because you like her, that don't mean she like you. Yeah. Move on. Fix something about yourself and then go to the next person. She just prepared you for the next person. Right. Just because you didn't get that job doesn't mean the world is over. We tend to I guess harp on not failing. You have to fall. That's lessons in that. You have to fail. My first year of football, I got cut. You get what I'm saying? And guess what happened? I said, okay, I'm never going to feel that feeling again. And I was 7 years old. I said, I'm never going to let nobody cut me. I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to check out every football book in the library. I'm going to figure this football thing out. My daddy going to play catch with me. Somebody going to fix this because I'm never going to feel that again. I tell kids all the time, I hate losing more than I like winning. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's no problem when you fail. So if I got to cut a kid, and I have no problem sitting there and say, man, this year you weren't good enough. That don't mean you're not going to be good enough, but this instant you weren't good enough. Now you're at a crossroads here. Are you gonna whine and say the world's against me, or are you gonna shine and go work your behind off so we don't have to have this conversation again?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, we got to be able to make sure, especially our young black men, are okay and understand that failure it's real. And they don't have to go get a coping mechanism to deal with failure. They got to strap up their boots and fix it.
Right.
Because I feel like they deal with different forms of rejection and they don't know how to take it.
Right.
It's just like it come in different forms. Like I always tell my kids at the school, I be like, look, you ever been rejected before? They be like, no. I get every girl I want. I'm not even talking about girls though, Playboy. I'm talking about college acceptance letters, job offers. It happens to everybody. Everybody don't get everything.
They got to go through that in life, though.
They do, but they don't realize that because the way these parents are now, everything is peaches and cream. It's given to them. It don't work like that. That's why a lot of them, they don't want to get real jobs. It's nothing wrong with working for somebody. Yeah. But the thing is, a lot of them, they feel like, okay, well, I could just be a content creator or I could be an entrepreneur. You can, but what else do you have to fall back on? Because your money is not going to be flat out right there as soon as you want to say you want to do whatever it is that you're doing. That's why I asked him, like, how he feel about his kids outside of football. Because I know a lot of kids, they love football. They take it to the grave. It's just like, what you going to do after football?
Right. Coach, I know this one of the questions I want to ask you. Just going on social media, I see a lot of kids. They coming in now, you know, because you won, you're a national champ, you're a state champ, so everybody want to play for the Rockets. How do you deal with that with all these kids just coming in? I want to play for the Rockets now. They just won. How do you deal with that?
No free rings.
There you go.
It's like you come on. I'm not gonna tell you it's a public school. It's a public entity. I can't turn you away.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the cream gonna always rise to the top. Yeah. I said this saying, it went viral because Plies tweeted it, but I really meant it. I said, look to your left, look to your right. Say neighbor, and everybody said neighbor. I said, Mike don't make it. Yeah. Mike don't make it. I said, because some of y'all might don't make it. Yeah. Because this ain't for everybody. Right. Everybody's not gonna be a champion. Yeah. Everybody's not gonna come with you. And that's in life too. Yeah, that's true. Like I when I went to college, I had a bunch of friends with me. Right. But then when it got time for midterm and finals, when it was a couple of y'all, it was some people dropped off, some people had to get jobs, some people things happen. Yeah. If you stay your course, you do what you're supposed to do, you're gonna see the finish line. That's so true. A lot of these guys, they coming in, man, I want to be a Rocket. Okay, well, let's see what you got if you're gonna do what it takes to be a Rocket.
So do you feel like the kids feel like you're a mean coach or you're passive aggressive?
I think my kids know me, and they know there's different versions of me. Outside, they just think I'm just this mean, wild guy. You know what I'm saying? But they gotta really think to themselves, how does 65? Like, he talks to the kids so reckless and he does all this other stuff. But it's not even that. My thing is, well, if you ask yourself, well, how did this kid from Liberty City allow this short, black, fat Haitian to talk to them in this manner? Like, why do they allow him to do so? It's because that kid knows that I care about him. Yeah, and that kid knows, right? And they know what I do for them in their day-to-day lives, so they understand that this yelling is not coming from a place of hate.
They with you for a long period of time, probably about 12, 14 hours.
They with me every day in the summer from 7 to 7.
That's what I'm saying, like even during school days.
Yeah, they know that. I'm the first person they see. They got to check in with me before they even go to class. Right. School starts at 7:20. They better check in with me before 7:15.
Yeah. I think the best thing about you, Coach, and you don't get this from every coach, because being a former student athlete, being a former professional player, a lot of coaches they lie to you. They tell you that you're gonna get X, Y, and Z. They make promises that they can't keep. I think the best thing about you, Coach, is you a realist. You keep it 100. Like, you let them know, like, listen, if you don't work, you don't eat. Like, I don't see you sit down a senior and play a freshman in front of them. Yeah. And that's the best thing about you as a head coach and coming to Miami Central or playing for Miami Central. You don't hold back. Like, you don't care that you're a senior and you've been starting for 3 years. Yeah. If you have a bad week of practice, Your ass is on the bench. This freshman if he had a good ass week, he snatched 3 picks in practice, and he read his keys and he communicated. He's gonna start. If you came out there, I'm a senior, I'm for the start. I got this offer.
That's that entitlement.
And a lot of schools operate like that, and it's so crazy because you shouldn't even do that because some of those freshmen have great talent. They be better than the seniors.
Well, no, man, we should. And I play the babies quick.
Yeah.
If
they
senior,
be hungry too. If
a senior feel like, hey, I'm here, I've arrived, and you think your production, this is what have you done for me lately business, and that's also teaching them as men to stay on their job, to stay on top, stay up. Yeah. Don't rely on the past. That don't matter. You get what I'm saying? That don't matter. Our kids looked at us like we was crazy on the field after we won our 4P. Because while we had our 4P, we was like, all right, drive for 5. They're like, yo, we didn't even finish celebrating. Yeah. Y'all crazy. It's like, yeah.
On to the next.
Yo, what's your favorite ring? The next one.
Yeah.
That's it, the next one.
So, do you see yourself at the collegiate level?
Right now, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just enjoying this right now. Like, just taking this all in. And I do it because it's fun.
Make kids happy.
I did that, just the camaraderie with the coach. I love my coaching staff. Like we're really a family, like for real. Like I think, if you're on the sideline, or if you were in a meeting, or if you were in a practice, you'll see like, I see why they are so successful, because the energy out there is pure. It's a pure energy. It's no side talking. Oh man, I don't know why. It's no beef. It's no gossip. It's none of that. If we have an issue. We'll put it on the table and just we're gonna have to hash it out.
It's going on the table. And
it's going on the table. Like, yo, you said this. I ain't say, well, you said it like this. So why you said it like that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we gonna talk it out as men, and that's just what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm not the type, especially if I see it, because my job is to make sure that we work cohesively. And if I gotta pull people in and make sure that there aren't no rifts, because primarily everybody's here for the kids, and I don't want no negative energy around my kids. Right. They've already got a lot of negative energy from when they get their final break and go home. Yeah. Football is their escape, so they shouldn't have to deal with adults trying to live vicariously. Let me say that again. Adults trying to live vicariously through these kids, these babies. They don't have, they're kids. They shouldn't have entourages of washed up people who, we got to stop that.
Yeah,
some of those parents that don't even play or never played before, and they be trying to coach from the stands. Let the coaches do their job.
Let's say that again, because you say play. Last I checked the dictionary, you play games. Yeah. This is a game. Yeah. For kids. If the kids do it well, they can make some money off it.
Yeah. Stop living through the kids.
Stop living through this
business.
business.
The kids enjoy this.
Let the kids enjoy this game.
It comes and it goes.
It's like freeze tag. Hide and go seek.
It start from baby though.
Red light, green light. Yeah. Hopscotch. Right. Okay, you get play. What? Yeah. Come on, like we gotta.
Don't force just one sport on.
We gotta stop it.
Coach, I ain't gonna hold you up. This is the last question that I want to ask you, because I know you gotta get your kids prepared tomorrow and get yourself prepared tomorrow. You say what you got on right now. Mm-hmm. You wear it like it's Gucci. What does that mean?
I was gonna ask that too. I ain't gonna lie.
I always tell people, when you look at like Rolex or Gucci or Balenciaga, Dior, or Mary's, you're not just paying for the brand, but you're paying for what it took to make that brand. Right. It's not about the watch; it's about the movement inside that watch. It's a lot of intricate details that was taken to make that watch. That one Rolex watch probably took 3-4 months to make. You get what I'm saying? So that's why the value is so raised. And it goes back to what I said about practice. Mm-hmm. That product that they see on Friday, it wasn't just built on Friday. It was built in them dog days of summer. Yeah. And when we go out there, that product is designer district. You just can't get it. It ain't for everybody. You got to be cut from a certain type of cloth to shop here. If you got to ask the price, you don't belong in the store. Right. You get what I'm saying? So it's only like a certain type of dialect. You got to understand. You just had to be there to be there. Yeah. Only certain people can wear this. Yeah. It's not for everybody. If you want to wear something for everybody, then you do what you do. It's, it's kind of primal. But for that Gucci brand, because that's the green that we wear, and we know that's the standard of excellence. When you see somebody draped in Gucci, it's a standard of wealth. It's an echelon of type of person. So when you see a Rocket wearing that green and white, you know that's a standard of championship. That's a standard of greatness when it comes to the high school football. Right. You know, somebody told me the other day, they was like, man, you sure do believe in yourself. I said, well, you got to believe in something. In real life, you believe in Jesus Christ and God. But when it comes to this football, high school football world of South Florida, you better believe in these Rockets.
Yeah, listen, no people say that the games be rigged, but I know they be lying.
Yeah. It ain't rigged. It's football. You gotta play it. You gotta coach it. You gotta be there, like Coach said.
Yeah, I get it. I dig it. It's a process.
I ain't gonna lie, I got a question back here.
Yeah,
It's your boy Flystone the Motors back here. Feel me? I ain't in front of the camera, but I got a question. I'm pretty sure you went to all the championships. You feel me? Mm-hmm. What was your favorite one? It could be one you just attended. It could be one you coached. Like, what was your favorite one?
I have two. The first one I would say is the one I attended when Rell Num was the 2010 one, because it was just like.
You 2020? Wait, you 2010? You ain't even said nothing. I've been talking.
The man's
I'm sorry.
It was just a surreal feeling. Like, I'd never forget that night. Like, to the day I die, because like, when we walked into the stadium, Cato just threw a pick six. I damn near fainted. Oh, these just blowing my bread.
That's you betting on them.
Yeah, that's the culture. That was the culture. What do you mean? Thanks. I wasn't a coach then. I haven't been coaching that long. So
they definitely bet on them.
And just seeing them, but that was like Central football. It ain't never Central football if there ain't no type of adversity. I got this funny saying, like, if there's some type of adversity in the week, I say to my staff in the meeting, like, well, at least we know we're going to win Friday. Because if ain't nothing going on, shit too calm, then we something wrong.
Definitely.
So you're just seeing that and then getting to see, because I hadn't seen, like, a lot of guys for, like, a long time, like, old teammates, and, and, like, the fall coming down, and I recall I saw one of my teammates, and I haven't seen him since like 2004. Yeah. And I'm like, boy, what's good? And instead of him saying, boy, I ain't seen you, he was like, see, the problem is we need to start running the ball more, Jube. Like, we'll exchange pleasantries later. Yeah. They need us. Yeah. We need to be thinking for them. Yeah. And that just shows you how intense South Florida and Miami Central football is, where it's like, this is my dog. I ain't seen him in 8 years. Instead of me saying, boy, what's good? Focus. We losing. We need to. So, right that was one. And I will honestly say the 2019 championship was special because I think that was when it kicked off. And that was my first year as a defensive coordinator. And, like, we went through a lot of turmoil where it was in the sense of, like, there was a lot of questions. Like, do he know what he's doing to run his defense? Like, I'm a very unorthodox guy. I mean, I ain't for everybody, but that's cool, too. I'm a binary person. Either it is or it ain't. Either you can or you can't. Ain't no gray area with me. And some people can't handle that, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm not for everybody. If you are for everybody, that means that you're not
you're desirable.
Right. So that was one, and I say this one right here because obviously it was my first year as a head coach, and there was a lot at stake, and it was a national championship, and I dealt with a lot of things within the building and the community. Just make no mistake, I'm smart because I play dumb, but I hear everything.
That's me. I feel that.
And it was just like every game, it was just continuously, like they would always say to me, like Channel 7 news guy was like, yo, you're so stoic after every game. Like, you win a game, you look mad. You just don't care. And then after we won the championship, he was like, yo, this is the first time I've seen you crack a smile. Yeah. And it was just like, because we done.
Because you stand on business.
Right, and it's it. This is it. And you got to teach the boys, like, that don't matter.
Right.
Next.
I noticed that about all coaches, though. Right. Y'all don't care about the win until you win the state game.
Right, but you got to really, like, teach. It's a teaching thing, though. It's like, I'm trying to teach them, yo, don't toot your own horn. Don't tell me you real. Show me you real. Yeah. Stop talk. Oh, look what I did. You supposed to do that. Yeah. And that's what type of characters that these guys. Well, I bought the baby pepper. You the daddy.
Yeah.
That what you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Well, you want a cookie?
Yeah.
Like then that's what. But we want to go. We can't lose.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So what next?
Man, so wait, pause. I do have another question. So how is the bus ride back home?
When we
to
win,
95th Street, yeah.
I let them talk and chill and kick it and all that other shit. Excuse me, I don't even cuss, but
You could curse.
oh, okay, yeah, I let them talk, kick it and all that other stuff, and then and then I get off when we get to the school. It's like, all right, y'all enjoy it today. Tomorrow, I'm watch that film. It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be a problem.
Be back in the lab.
Right, and then I forgot what game that was. We won though, but we didn't win how I wanted us to win. Yeah. And I was like, shut up, man, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
And it was like, God damn, we won. Shut up.
But do y'all ever feel like y'all should have had more points? Like, do y'all ever tell the boys like, hey, I want this amount of points on the board?
Yeah, of course. We have goals, but we know that the game should be played, and and things happen. But we do think we're the best, and I always tell them they can tell us we always say
think or no, because you sound real confident to me.
What?
You said we think we're the best.
I mean, of course, I'm just being politically correct, but I know when I tell them we the best team in Miami, Dolphins included. Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah. Don't do that.
Well, I was just saying that's just the spring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what they can line it up too. Yeah. We can go, and my kids be like, yeah, Cody, yeah, let's do it.
We'll go at the Dolphins.
We'll go at
crazy.
And I tell them,
right
anybody, anywhere, aisle 3 on Walgreens while you trying to get lotion. Let's go.
Not out there and walking.
Yeah. We'll take it anywhere.
And
We want all the smoke.
All of it, hookah. Vape, whatever.
Yeah.
Take it in different flavors.
Yeah.
Love 66, whatever.
Yeah.
We just don't get me started now, bro. You done got me started, bro.
You get beside yourself.
Nah, man.
He give us he being who he is. That's who he is, and that's the intensity that we love as him being the head coach, man.
Yeah, but I just say like me for real, like I'm kind of doing it for, like I say, a lot. Some people say, why people don't like you? They don't know me. They don't know me, so all they see is the barking and
the Gucci you got on.
No, I honestly think it's because I'm not doing it their way. Yeah. I'm not conforming to that, and I'm going against the grain, and it's like a thing of like he's so young, and he's doing it at a high level. Guys been coaching 30, 40 years, having attained what I've attained in such a short time. I've been coaching long. My first year of coaching was 2012.
That's the real problem, though. You know that, right? Old people don't like it because young people come in and we got a different strategy and we do it better. But that's how it's supposed to be.
She's talking about we. She going at it. Which old cheer coach?
Cheerleader national coming.
I don't care.
Try her. Right. But yeah, though, coach, man.
I ain't gonna lie. I got one more question.
One more.
One more question. We can get you up out of here.
That's cool, man. I'm chilling.
With all this pressure having this job, like, would you recommend this job to anybody, like a person? You feel me? Like I don't want to say a regular. You feel me? Because that's not politically correct. But would you just recommend this job for anybody who's not passionate about it?
No, I don't recommend anything. Don't do anything you're not passionate about because you're gonna half-ass it. As far as with pressure, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't feel any. I've never felt any. They ask me all the time, you following the legend, and shout out to Smith and everything like that. But they're like, so how do you feel? I'm like, nothing changed, man. I just get to pick the uniform we wear this week. Like, that's it. That's my approach to it. It's a game. I mean, I be in the meetings like, yo, it's a public high school. It's not the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Really
like, yo, at the end of the day, they kids.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Right.
They selling conch over there. You know, like, yo, what we doing?
They selling conch over there.
Like, you get what I'm saying? What we doing here? It's nothing. We like to make things bigger than what they are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, every week, what's the goal? Do your job. Yeah. Wide receivers, catch the ball. Yeah. Quarterbacks, throw the ball. Big people, move little people. Yeah. Fast people, run fast. Yeah. Like, that's just. Yeah. It's just simple. Yeah. Keep it at its most primitive state. That's when guys get to adding on. It's like, yo, Now you making it not fun. Now it's getting turned into
Football's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to always be fun. Coaching is supposed to be fun.
Coaching supposed to be fun.
The energy's supposed to be fun.
On every level.
You know, and that's just what it is.
Yelling at the kids, they be so mad at the game.
Because they haven't prepared those kids the right way, and now that the kids not doing what they want,
they're embarrassed.
They're
embarrassed because it's like a parent. It's like you don't discipline little Johnny at home. He fell out in the grocery store. He do that at home. Don't get shocked because he do that at home.
Yeah.
See, our kids, they don't you dare.
Yeah.
You know, and we teach them that. And then the same thing where I always tell them this too. It's like, don't just hold accountable. It's accountability. Don't hold other people accountable. Hold your dog accountable. Yeah. Because,
you be riding with.
Have you ever caught them talking to each other like, hey, you ain't do this right, but you can do this better? Because, a lot of football players, they don't do that. Like, they don't actually talk to
We coach them on that, too. Like, I've literally had players where I'm like, I've had a player, I'm like, look, you kind of need to be a better leader. He's like, so you can lead better. You can be effective without being negative. Mm-hmm. You ain't gotta be negative. You ever tried the opposite of what you're doing? And you're like, what you mean? I'm like, instead of saying, man, what the fuck your garbage ass doing?
No, listen.
Why don't you just say, hey, man, you better than that?
Yeah.
Listen, I done caught down the sideline though.
Yeah.
We don't do that though. Like we catch that.
Makes?
We do that. Like if and my coaches know. Yeah. And I've had a conversation with because I always ask. I had one of my younger coaches this week. I'm like, what you learned this year? And I'm like, what do you like? Tell me what you've learned. And he was like, well, I ain't gonna lie. Like watching you, I learned like stay calm in adverse situations. He's like, cause like when things be going crazy, like you just stay calm. And then, like, everybody stay calm because you calm. And then he also said, I remember one time, like, he said, it's like a totem pole. And, I know I'm the JV coach and I'm at the bottom. But I remember I said something like, man, what we doing? And you were walking by and you heard me and you turned and said, we can't be negative. Yeah. We got to stay positive. Everybody got to stay positive. The kids going to hear you. Yeah. And you just walked away. He said, that just affected me so much because here you are coaching in a big game and you got a trillion things on your mind, but the moment you heard something negative, you stopped what you was doing and you addressed it right there. And you didn't like degrade me or anything like that. You didn't say, what the hell are you talking about? You said we, as in like us together, because that's what it is. It's a we thing. If we win, when we win, it's we. It's my staff. Everybody's wonderful. If we lose, I wear that because I'm the leader and nobody else is. And it's my fault, and I've got to look at myself and what I can do and put my guys in the best position.
Right. Yeah, that's real. Well, Coach, we want to give you your flowers while you're here, man. You're doing a great job at Miami Central, especially in your first year being a national champ and a state champ, man. The way you're putting these kids in position to win for their families, to go to school, to change the narrative of what they say about minorities in the African-American community and the low-income community. You're doing an amazing job, man. We just want to give you your flowers right now, man. So shout out to you, Coach.
Thank you, man. Shout out to you guys in this platform. I think that it's a needed thing where, people are voicing their opinions and speaking on issues and situations in our community, dealing with our youth and our people because, people tend to be tight-lipped with certain topics, and sometimes we just got to put it to the forefront and just be able to have an open dialogue about it. Because even though it may not be a solution, but at the end of the day, just knowing is the beginning of finding a solution. So I appreciate you guys and your platform.
Yeah, thank you, man. We really appreciate you, man. We gonna wrap it up here, man. This is Trap Nights the Crib. This is your boy Presidential Rell.
It's the Trap Nights Princess. I am Little Bitt.
And, man, we out for the night, man. Thank you, Coach Jube, Miami Central, for coming through and, sharing so much knowledge and love with us, man. And we just want to make sure that you know that it's giving right back to you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.